Right, good to go.
So you guys can just ask the questions, whatever you want to ask, and then I'll talk about the subject, and then if you want to ask some questions along the lines, along the way you can, or if you want to ask afterwards.
Okay.
Okay.
What are your views on society?
My views on society. We live in a world now where there's a lot of conditioning everywhere we look and everywhere we see. As you know, most people go to university, or a lot of people go to work Monday to Friday, so that's a big percentage of your week taken up with work. Now when you finish work, you go home, and what you see on the TV, I see it as like seasons, so you get like X Factor, then you'll get Big Brother, then you'll get Britain's Got Talent, you'll get The Voice, X on the Beach, and they tend to go in seasons, if you've not noticed, all the year through. And this is to draw people into TV, to take them away from what's actually happening in the world and try and like discommunicate everybody. So what you'll find is people will go home from work, stick on the TV, they'll be excited to watch the next thing, maybe Big Brother or something. While they're watching Big Brother, they will be on Facebook talking about Big Brother. Their friends will then be posting on Facebook talking about Big Brother. This is in your spare time after you've been at work all day. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So they do it in a strategic fashion, so you're busy and your mindset's busy all year round, so you program to your TV. That's why it's called a TV program. So as the year goes on, if there's a small gap, a 2-3 week gap in between any of these shows, you'll get people on Facebook and communicating again saying, oh, I can't wait till next week till Big Brother or something comes on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So people are completely disconnected from each other. People don't talk the way they used to talk, and I believe my views on this is purely because the powers that be are to keep people in the organ grinder, so to speak. It's terrible for you uni people, for the people at university and students, because we spend more money a year on war. Governments spend more money a year on war than they do to educate their people. So you guys will come out of university with, tell me if I'm wrong, £40,000-50,000 worth of debt. So before you even start work, you're already tied into the system. You're already tied into that enslavement of what the governments and the powers that be where they want you to be. So then you come out of university, you go into work, you're paying off a debt before you've even started working. You go to get a mortgage on a house that you're never probably going to own. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll own it at 50 and 60. In exceptional circumstances, people do buy their houses outright if you could become successful, which is what we'll talk about later. So you're tied to a home that you'll never own for your entire life. You're paying it off while you're paying your student debt off. You buy a car, so you'll be paying your car off, your student debt off, and your mortgage off. You'll be coming home from work, watching these programs all day, every day, discommunicated from everyone. And people seem to sort of keep themselves in this life because they find it's a comfort zone. So people are sort of comfortable. We go on 2 holidays a year, we can afford our house, we can afford our car, we're paying things off. So they stay within a comfort zone, and within a comfort zone you don't tend to, well, you never will grow. Nothing ever exciting happens outside of a comfort zone. And it's to keep people working, paying the taxes, paying the bills, paying the national debt, paying the debt to the banks, and to keep can you understand where I'm coming from? This is a strategic thing by the powers that be, and it works exceptionally well. And the way they distract you is by these programs on TV. Not only that, at the weekends. So, like I said, you work Monday to Friday. The only 2 days you really get with your family and your friends, really, apart from the evenings, which is when you're watching your TV, but it's supposed to be the weekend. Now, the mass population of people who watch football or go out with their friends drinking or partying on them 2 days. So the only 2 days free you've got, people tend to use it without filling a purpose, if that makes sense. When I talk about a purpose, I mean everyone on this earth, every single individual is here for a purpose, something to do, something to become spectacular, to become you're powerful beyond your means. But people can't tap into this and won't tap into this because they're too distracted by everything that's around them. Does that make sense? So we completely detach ourselves from who we really are and what we really are. We completely forget about our goals, our dreams and our ambitions because we're okay. We're all right. We're paying our mortgage. We're paying our bits and pieces. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. But why should we be happy with okay? It's absolutely a false statement when people have said before, and I've done my research on this, so you can check it up yourself. People say that greatness is within your DNA strands. addictions within your DNA strands. If you're an addict, it's because you was born that way. It's completely and utterly false, and I urge you to do your research on it. Every single person on this planet is born with innocence. As a baby, they're innocent. They are conditioned by society. So when I say conditioned by society, let's talk about why guys and girls are the way they are nowadays, and why the generation of kids is going the way they are going. So I'm just listening on this one. So if I went to an African tribe in the middle of the Sahara Desert, different culture, different way of upbringing, different conditioning, there could be 100 people walking around completely naked. Men would not stare at women's chest or breast, or they wouldn't act the way that us men act, just due to the fact that they are around it all the time. Now, if we went there, we'd be like, wow, what's going on here? We naturally won't be able to keep our eyes off where they shouldn't be. Yes or no? It's correct. But this is a difference between conditioning and societies, because the reason men are the way they are nowadays is you watch on TV, they are always flamboyant with putting breasts on TV, putting twerking on TV. It's cool to cheat on your missus. Look at these programmes like, what's that, X on the Beach? Geordie Shore, X on the Beach, yeah? So the generation of kids are growing up and looking at these, that they're calling icons, with the breasts out, bums out, cheating on each other, and they think this is cool. Now, you cannot blame the child or the teenager growing up with the values that they have. Cheating on partners, lying, deceiving, groping girls' bums in nightclubs. I know it's a hard concept to grasp, but you cannot blame the person. You can. You have to blame the conditioning of society. If I was raised by a lone female, and I didn't see much else, and she said, "Oh, look at that hat," and talk really feminine, I would grow up with the same sort of attributes as what I was raised with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree with that. My mum brought me up, and I don't feel like groping women.
No, it's completely exactly. Yeah. That's your conditioning.
Yeah.
It's individuality is bullshit. Individuality does not exist. Individuality is, people say individuality is to do with people's sense of humour, people's values, people's principles. That's got nothing to do with individuality. It's to do with conditioning, the way you are raised. It's like adopted children. From a very young age, we get programmed. Whether you believe it or not, at a very, very young age, our brains are developing, and we become programmed like a computer. We learn and we act from what's around us. So say if you had an adopted child, as they grow up, when they obviously if they've always told that they've been adopted, they grow up with a sense of rejection, and they always will have it because it's a natural sense of rejection. Because society tells us that your parents should be the only people who love you. Every single, as you'll know when you, as a parent, when you get older, your parents will turn around to you and say, "Who loves you more than anyone in the world? Who loves you? Me and your daddy. Me and your daddy love you more than anyone." You're programming a child to detach themselves from everyone else. Because in this world, the only currency and the only thing that makes people vibrate higher and gives them a better frequency is love, kindness and happiness. Does it make sense what I'm saying so far? When people are happy, they completely... It's alright.
Are you sure you still feel like a cut off?
Yeah, no worries, that's fine.
Sorry.
It's alright, mate. No. So like, society has done this to us, and it's all, like I say, it's all to do with cultures, where we're from, patriotism and everything like that. It's all bullshit. We are all exactly the same people. Race, skin colour, religion, age, sex, views, principles, we are all born exactly the same way, and we completely lose ourselves with the systems that be. If I don't make sense at any point, just let me know, or ask a question and I'll change it. So what I've found and what I've done with my studies and bits and pieces recently is I want to go out and spread a message to people, and do it within my business as well, of trying to get people to understand that happiness, instead of looking for external happiness, which is consumerism, which is another thing that the powers that be, to find happiness within. and that comes from your purpose. You will never ever find happiness with getting smashed every weekend after your 5 days at university or work, or watching the footy at the weekend. It'll make you happy, but it's a quick fix. So as long as you can hit that quick fix every weekend, people will continue to do it. But they'll be miserable Monday to Friday because they'll always be waiting for that quick fix at the weekend. It's bullshit. You should be happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's all to do with finding happiness within. But the thing is, when we talk about external happiness, people, everywhere you look now, and especially the advertisement and the media and the TV, the new iPhone 27, if you don't have, and they generally make you feel if you do not have this product, you are not cool in society. You need to have these Apple products, you need to have these Macs, you need to have this new technology and this, and if you can't, then yeah, put your iPhone away. I'm joking, but do you see what I'm saying? So people are, not only are people distracted by what they see on TV, they're also distracted by, and it's all around us, these people who own these big corporations have that much money. They hire the best psychologists, the best human behaviouralists to find out how to get people engaged in their product and how to get people needing their product. So we'll go back to working Monday to Friday, watching your programmes as you do during the week, and then at the weekend tying yourself up with drinking, socialising instead of fulfilling your inner purpose. We'll go on to consumerism. So not only that, but during the week, you're working, thinking to yourself, oh, I need to work some extra hours because I want the new car, this new BMW that's out. I need to work these extra hours because I want to buy this new iPhone. I need to work these extra hours because I want my kids to have the PlayStation 7. Does this make sense? We're continually worrying throughout life and throughout society. And fear is something another thing that does not exist. It's something that we've created as human beings. We wasn't, if you had a 6-month-old child and put it in the savannah desert and it was surrounded by a pride of lions, it wouldn't be fearful, it won't be scared. If you don't believe me, do your research. It would not be scared. You do not come onto this world with fear. It's instilled with us. And that's another way of the controlling society and the society that we're in. But we'll go on to something positive now. So I want to talk maybe about how we can break ourselves away from these kind of things. So like, I dare anyone, even if you're on your own, or even better if you're with a family, I dare you all at one time at night, maybe in the evening, any time you want, between 7 and 8 o'clock, all of you turn your mobile phones off and put them in a drawer for an hour, 1 hour. It's not asking a lot in society. It's not asking a lot, is it? I tell you, it's not. It won't work because people are too attached to their phones. They're too attached to everything nowadays.
You've got to see though, some people like work from their phones.
I
know it's,
yeah.
But for me, like 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's like, as you were saying about people watching TV, it's a perfect time for me to engage with people who follow me on Instagram, because that's when they're looking at their phones after work, chilling, laying in bed.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time for me to like. So I guess like what you're saying about society and people, the TV programs, I'm kind of like a very small, you know, like I'm like a small version of a TV show posted on Instagram to get people engaged.
I'm with you. Makes sense.
So
I understand that, and I understand what you're saying, and I use Instagram to promote what I promote as well, which I fully agree. Instagram isn't one of the worst ones, but what I'm trying to do to steer you away from that is, alright, don't do it within that time limit that you're saying that you need to post on Instagram, but find an hour. I'm not saying do it at 7, 8 o'clock, do it an hour before you go to bed, but turn your phone off. But people can't do it because of attachment, and attachment is detrimentally damaging for human beings. When we attach ourselves to females, it's damaging. If you've not done your homework, and if you've not got to know that girl, everyone knows, and I don't know about you guys or anyone else, but you'll know your friends or yourselves who have been attached to someone before, and you know, we'll talk about intuition later on, but you'll know that attachment is bad for you, but your attachment, your need for that person starts to overwhelm that inner voice. So your mind and everything's telling you, no, this isn't good for myself, but you love the person, you can't live without them, so you've got to stay with them. It's so damaging for your soul, it's so damaging for a person inside, it's so detrimentally damaging, it's unreal, to the point that people even become suicidal, people completely lose grip of who they are because of this attachment. And I'm not just saying with females, I'm talking about phones and everything. please don't. If I say anything that's offensive, please call me up on it or keep it quiet. But either way, what a lot of people do is make excuses, and I'm not saying it's an excuse what people do, but like people will say, like it's my perfect time to post on social media. Now, stepping away from attachment and stepping away from these things that are bad for us, where does happiness come from? It comes from, ultimately, it comes from within. It comes from you. You create your own thoughts, you create your own mindset, it comes from within. So, at night time, spending an hour turning your phone off and putting it away and working on yourself, on your happiness, maybe reading a book, maybe doing some meditation, engaging with yourself, or engaging with your family. I'm not just talking about if you're on your own. I'm saying if there's 5 of you in a family, instead of you're watching Big Brother, watching Facebook, I was going to say, which you know enough do. People watch Facebook, they don't go on it, they watch it. Instead of watching Big Brother and things like that, put your phones away and sit around each other. And I bet to start with, you'll all look at each other like, what we might do now then. But can you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do what I'm saying make sense? We're completely lost the detachment between each other. And you'll see it. I lived in London recently, and it's probably the worst place not the worst place I've been. I love London, it's an amazing place, but as you walk past people are so disconnected. It's like you can see it in their eyes. There's no eye contact. If I sat down with someone on a bus and started engaging in conversation with them, they'll look at you as if to say, who's this person? Where's this alien come from? They honestly do, mate. It's that bad. The society down there has got that bad. But it's the same with all big cities. It's the same with quite a lot of places, and even to an extent, even places like Lincoln City. People are slowly but surely starting to disengage because they think their happiness is going to come from 500 likes on Instagram or 200 comments on their Facebook status. But it does fulfill people for such a short period of time, but you're constantly chasing that fulfillment. You're running after it. You shouldn't have to run after happiness.
Like dating someone. Back in the day, years and years and years ago, you'd meet a girl, take her out to the cafe, cinema, that sort of thing, see each other Friday a week. Nowadays it's Tinder.
Of course it is.
One swipe.
You've made it easy.
No engagement.
What do you expect? Here we go again. Can you blame the people who are using Tinder? You've got to blame the conditioning of the society, because now dating has been made easy. If something is made easy, people will use it. So if someone can sit at home, order the groceries, date, buy things, do things, they'll sit on a sofa watching their programmes that they'll normally watch, dating, doing everything they can, because everything's been made easy. I've got a great example. There's a bridge been made over Lincoln, over the railway lines, isn't there? You know the big bridge over the railway lines, the footbridge. Yeah. So it got made. They spent about £6 million on this bridge. So when they built it, there was quite a lot of news people and people studying what was going on, because people were still congregating around the railway line and not using the bridge. There was only very, very few people who was using the bridge. People would still rather stand at the railway line and wait for the railway line, the barriers to come up to walk through. And everyone was going, why isn't anyone using this bridge? This is what everyone wanted. I'll tell you why everyone wasn't using the bridge, because they've made it harder. That's a 10-foot gap. How dare anybody make a 10-foot gap harder for me to pass? People won't use the stairs because they've become lazy. It's not easy. They can't swipe and cross. They can't they've got to climb up some stairs. How dare anyone make something harder for people when we live in a society that slowly but surely everything is becoming very easy and so instant. We're so technically advanced that we are completely dumbing ourselves down as people. But technology could be used, if it was used in the right ways, to completely advance, and if not completely advance human minds, to an extent where we are controlling and doing more for ourselves than actually having a small collective group of people like the governments who are controlling everything for us. But they won't do that because it's where all the money is, it's where all the money stays. The powers that be would not want everybody in this Lincoln University here to be so open-minded and thoughtful and knowledgeable on everything around them, because it would be detrimental to their system, their monetary system, and every system that keeps everyone tied in and keeps them rich, keeps us poor, and keeps us chasing happiness, keeps us chasing everything.
It's like I say, I did my tax return yesterday, and I thought to myself, why did they teach this at school? I thought about it, but why would they? Because they don't want you to work for yourself.
I'd love to talk about school, guys.
They want you to chip. They want you to chip in.
Of course they do.
They want you to pay tax in a 9-to-5 job because they get more money that way.
A national insurance number is just.
They don't want you to pay any expenses. They don't want you to claim back.
Of course not. Of course they don't. They want as much as they can. When you get a national insurance number and a tax code, mate, that is literally labelling you. You are then. Believe us or not, let's go deep. You're enslaved. You are slaves. You are a modern slave. You've got a number above your head, a tax code above your head, and you have to pay into that system. But half the things that you're paying into, did you ask for? Did you sign for? Do you sign up? Do you agree with war?
No, well, no.
Do you agree with poverty?
Of course not. No.
So, but you're paying into it.
But it has its pros and cons. Do you know what I mean? If you broke your leg right now, like you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, why am I paying tax?"
I fully agree.
Like you'd be like going, "Thank fuck I paid tax."
Yeah, exactly. But then again, thank God I did pay tax. But when I go to these hospitals, I'm getting treated by nurses who are absolutely shattered doing 24-hour shifts because they're not getting paid enough because we're putting too much money into war.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I totally
so God forbid, there is pros and cons. You're right. Thank God we've got the health system. But when I'm going to the hospital, God bless all the nurses and all the people who save lives. These kind of people should be on footballers' wages. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's like in America. I don't know how they're getting away with it, but pilots are on like $20,000 a year, $25,000 a year. They're actually getting to a point where pilots are going to food banks in America. I'm not being funny, guys, but if I'm getting flown across the world, mate, I want the guy to be happy who's flying that plane. Do you know what I'm saying? If I've got a broken leg and I'm going into the NHS, mate, I want the person to be happy, calm, collective, not after a 24-hour shift, run off the feet, not seeing the family and tying them down and out. Nurses and doctors, mate, need more accreditation than footballers, than politicians, because they do more for the majority, and the majority pay their taxes.
I understand what you're saying, but I think the thing is with footballers, it's a private business.
It is.
Whereas, I mean, in reality, we shouldn't actually know what footballers earn because it's nothing to do with the paying with the public. It's just we've got to a point now where everyone's, so nosy. They have they feel like they need to know.
Need to know, of course.
This is the thing where like they want to make the NHS private so they can pay people more, so they can take more money off you. And then people, doctors, nurses, etc. will get paid more, but it doesn't help the many. It just helps a few. I don't think generally they get paid more. But if we talk about footballers and bits and pieces, we shouldn't know what they earn a week. But the reason they do show people what they earn a week is because they want people to strive for money. They want people to chase money, because that's what so look at these footballers, are on this amount of money a year, so people are constantly like, oh, I want money, I need success, I need success, I need success. We'll talk about success later. But if that's the case, then why isn't the government taxing the rich more than they're taxing the poor? Why do they tax the rich less than they tax the poor? Can you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
So I understand your point, I do fully get your point, but this is what I'm saying, the system that we are in does not serve the people who are paying the most tax. If you're paying the most tax, you want the best for your money, right?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone wants the best for the money. So the people who pay, so if the people who are paying less, but the people who are paying less, man, I live in the footballers, the big corporations, the big business people, and they're living a flamboyant life. Us who have to grind 5-6 days a week to go to work, to pay our taxes, to have 2 days a week that we consume with alcohol because we're told it's cool, or we consume with buying products because we're told we need to, and we're paying the most tax, and we're still buying into society. We're paying into the corporations that are paying less tax. The society doesn't work. The system's failing. The society doesn't work. But the only reason people don't quite see it is because people are so distracted by adverts, by the things, by money, by football, by icons. You look at the TV, at celebrities and stuff. And these people are classed as icons now, to the point where people want to be like these people. Why do you think relationships don't last anymore? Because it's cool to cheat and get your boobs out, get your bum out. It's cool to be a bit of a twat, if we're honest. It's the truth, and social media and everything. And this is the condition of society. I'm going to say something which I don't want to offend anyone here, but I want to ask you two a question. If you live next door to a member of the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, they've got horrendous beliefs. It's disgusting. I've no sanction with the or wouldn't even. I just don't understand the beliefs. But the person who you live next door to, would you hate that person for believing in what they believed in?
Yeah, cozzled.
Oh, I don't think.
Okay, I like that answer. Go on.
I'd never associate myself with someone.
I wouldn't associate. No, you
It's a
wouldn't.
bad look.
I don't think I'd hate the person. I'd just hate their views.
Their views. But where does their views come from? Like I touched on earlier, you was raised by your mother. It's the conditioning. That guy would have been raised by a family of people who already had them beliefs and bestowed them beliefs upon that person. Because he was such a young age and a delicate person, his brain development as he's getting older, he's been told this is the way life is, this is how we should be segregated, this is how we should be broken down. Yes, we all do have our own choices as we're growing up, but programming as we grow up is so detrimental and damaging to people, it's unreal. So do you blame the person or do you blame the culture and the conditioning he's grown up with? Do you see what I'm saying? Because we're all born innocent. We're all born innocent without being, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a deep thing there, and I don't want to say that.
It's kind of, it's difficult because they must know that their beliefs are in a minority.
Of course.
So, it's tough.
So my beliefs are in a minority.
It's tough.
My beliefs are my beliefs are probably in the
I
minority.
don't think they are, but I think a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people don't want to speak out about it because they don't feel like they can have an impact about it.
Agreed.
So it's just
I don't feel comfortable about it either.
Yeah, you're right. So someone once said to me, "Carl, you think you're going to change the world?" This and that. I said, "I don't. Do you know what? I know I'm going to change the world. Not directly me standing on top of a mountain talking to everyone, but I know I'll change the world because I will open little gateways in people's minds so they'll start thinking and they'll start passing things on. It's like a domino effect, isn't it? So if I'm doing my part, then someone else will start doing their part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We'll just have a quick touch up on intuition before we go because I think it's quite a deep thing we want to get into. Have we got time? Have we got time?
Shut up after like 20 minutes.
Have we got time?
Yeah, still going.
Yeah, we've got time. We've got
pausing society, yeah.
It's on 27 minutes.
We've got time. Yeah. It's only going to take 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll keep it going.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the thing is, I've got this is only booked till 12 o'clock.
What time is it now?
5 to.
Is it? Oh, no worries. I'll
Yeah.
take it. Well, you get one for it.
They're a bit immediate.
We'll get on to that over there. We'll talk about the other stuff over there.
Okay. What should we do? You want to order there?
Yeah, we'll order there. We've covered the first subject like in a big way. Do you know what I mean? We was trying to get through 4.